We all know someone has to take the blame for this, and that's when Butthead strikes, saying it was my fault, since it was last seen in my hands. Manager asks if this is true, then I realize that yes, I was indeed the last person to touch the thing, and I never actually saw Butthead pick up the box. Butthead gives me a look that screamed, gotcha. Manager and the HR consultant ask us both to leave. After what seemed like forever, I get called in. Manager tells me that since I was responsible for the rings at the time, and now they're lost, they would be firing me. But since they had no proof as to whether I stole the rings, they wouldn't press charges, which scared the crap out of me as this is the first time I heard of them thinking of this. I go back to the warehouse, tell Kay and the other warehouse clerks what just happened, grab my personal belongings, and left that day. After a couple weeks of trying to get my head around what happened and weighing my options, I decide my first priority is to try and get some sort of job, and consider it lucky if I get a job flipping burgers with the bad rep when they ask Company B. I call the owner of Company A, the first company, to get a good reference from them and explain what happened and why I was calling, only to get the shock of a lifetime. The manager position was about to be open. The guy who I lost the position to was retiring soon due to complicated health reasons. Owner had kept tabs on me while at university and understood when I didn't immediately come back to him. But with a golden opportunity like this, he wanted me back and I wasn't going to say no. I dive into the new job I originally wanted with an owner I enjoyed working for. I thought then and there everything would be behind me, not knowing it would come back not only to bite me but to pay dividends. The revenge. Kay's side. This I found out after Butthead's reckoning. After I was fired, Kay knew she had to do something about Butthead. Kay knew I wouldn't lose or steal something like the rings, but also knew that without proof, Butthead would deny she did it and have Kay in her crosshairs to attack next. So after talking with her husband, she hatched a plan. She started hanging out with Butthead, telling her things like, I'm so glad he's gone, or wish he had been fired much earlier. Butthead, feeling high from getting rid of one of her thorns in her side, soaked it all in, and after a couple weeks invited Kay and Kay's husband, from now on KH, for drinks at her place, with her and Butthead's husband. Months passed. Kay and Kay's husband do things regularly together with Butthead and Butthead's husband, including drinking on weekends and couple-related events. When together, Kay would occasionally badmouth me, and Butthead would agree. Finally, after a year of playing nice, when Kay and Kay's husband were over at Butthead's for one of their drinking parties, Kay randomly badmouthed me, mentioning the rings in passing. Then Butthead said something that Kay was waiting for. I wanted those rings, so I stole them. Kay, hearing this, asks for more details. Kay's husband looks at her, tries to wave her off with one hand, then gives up when Butthead keeps talking. That day, Butthead had stopped writing her email and was going to put the rings in the safe. The safe was open, and she was about to put the rings away when Butthead had an idea. See, as mentioned above, Butthead wanted me gone from Company B. She also wanted those rings. She also knew that the cameras weren't working. She figured that she could pocket the rings, tell the manager they were missing, and spin it so I would take the blame. Kay then asks, where are the rings now? And Butthead, being too drunk and not seeing a reason not to brag, not only tells her, but shows her where they are in her room. All while Kay's husband had been recording the whole conversation. Kay gives a copy of the recording to manager the next workday. Police are called immediately. Butthead is arrested at part 2 of the long-awaited revenge. I get a call from the prosecutor's office. After Butthead is arrested and charged with theft over $5,000, among other things. He wants me to testify about what she did to me. I didn't skip a beat in saying yes. Fast track to the trial. Prosecutor has me, Kay, and KH's husband testify and plays the recording of Butthead admitting that she stole them. Her attorney tries to throw out the case, saying Kay got Butthead deliberately drunk, but judge didn't buy it, since there was proof she drank all the time. Judge was lenient and gave her 5 years in prison, which she yelled was unfair, but I personally thought she got off easy. Meanwhile, as the trial was happening, I was talking to a lawyer to sue Butthead for setting me up like she did. We were also going to sue Company B for wrongful termination, but they settled the day they got notice of the lawsuit and knew they would lose. Butthead wasn't so lucky. They tried some trickery by having Butthead's husband divorce her, and he received everything in the divorce. But my lawyer added him into the lawsuit as well. My lawyer asked overall for $3,500 in emotional distress, back pay from when I was fired until I started working for Company A again, and legal fees. And now you're probably wondering what the metaphoric cherry on top was. Well, recently, we had someone leave Company A, so we were hiring someone to replace them. Owner was going over the resumes and set up interviews for the job this week. Lo and behold, Butthead was one of the people to apply, but he didn't know that. I looked at the resume and was about to trash it, then smiled. Owner set up the interview. She came in at her slotted time, looking to brown nose her way through. Then she saw me. I smiled an evil smile, and she went white. All I said was, Butthead, how are you? Remember me? A deer in the headlight look from her. I look at her resume and say, I'm sorry, I do not think you'll be a good fit for our company. She said not one word and left. A delicious pro-revenge sundae with a cherry on top, my dear.